Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wade Bradford, and I'm talking today about different creative writing experiments. This is creative writing experiment number 11. So, if you have been following along, these creative writing experiments are meant to be just that. They are different ways of trying out form, style, character, dialogue, all sorts of things. Today we're actually talking about something that I don't always do, and we're talking about outlining. Now, you may have heard of these terms, or maybe you haven't yet. The terms are plotter and pantser. A plotter is someone who, perhaps before writing the first sentence of chapter 1, they sit down, they come up with ideas for a story, and they outline the story or the novel or the screenplay. Maybe they do it every step of the way. Maybe it's kind of like in bullet points. Maybe they world build every aspect of their story before they even start writing, or maybe they just know how it begins and what happens throughout the conflict and how it ends. So that is a way of describing a plotter. Then there are the pantsers. Those are the people that write by the seat of their pants, meaning that they don't know exactly where the story is going to lead them. Maybe they have a vague idea of what the ending will be like, and they're building towards that ending. Or maybe the characters are the ones that are in charge of the story and the way it's told. And of course there are people that call themselves plantzers, somewhere in between the plotter or the pantser. And that leads me to what I want this week's experiment to be. I want you, if you conduct this experiment, if you choose to accept this mission, I want you to be a little bit of both plotter and pantser. I want you to come up with the beginning idea of a story or a book. Come up with the protagonist and a conflict. Put the protagonist in a situation of some type of dramatic tension. The protagonist wants something and is not able to get it, and that could unfold into a story. But then, I want you to skip ahead, and I want you to imagine not necessarily the ending of the story, but I want you to firmly imagine what does the protagonist want to have happen by the end of the story. So what does the protagonist want, and what is the protagonist's plan of action to get what he or she wants? So if we were thinking of this as a play, come up with the outline for Act 1. Let yourself find out what happens in Act 2 and most of Act 3 while you write the story, and have an idea of where the character would like to be at the end of the story. And then as you, in theory, as you flesh this story out, or play, or screenplay, or novel, or whatever it becomes, you get to decide as the author whether or not the protagonist gets to have the idealized ending that the character wishes and longs for and strives for, or whether or not you thwart that intention and maybe you give the protagonist something even better, or maybe the protagonist ends up sad, miserable, maybe sadder but wiser, maybe dead. So that's of course going to be up to you. For this experiment then, I just kind of want to know, and if you want to leave this in the comments, that would be wonderful. I just want to know what kind of situation and protagonist can you come up with? What kind of conflict can you generate? And what does the protagonist hope and plan will happen at the end of his or her story? All right, there's today's experiment number 11. I will talk to you later. Have fun.